Hi everyone, Anthony Morgan's Training Academy. Today is about a guillotine series. And a guillotine series, the word guillotine means scissor. And working a scissor, there's a lot of places in the martial arts that we use scissors. A lot of times it's blocking, sometimes it's shielding. There's always a scissor in place. Now, what I'm going to be demonstrating today is how we get set up into a scissor. So imagine that this lower arm, if somebody's coming in with, say, a dagger, and that's most likely what it's going to be, because I wouldn't do this with somebody that was empty-handed because it's not fair and right. But if this person has a dagger, what happens is when they thrust here, I will pass this and I will cut. Okay, I will pass this and I will cut. Now I can pick this line up a couple different ways on the backhand. Now the first part, when I move here and I cut, okay, now I can also pick this up here underneath and go for the cut. I can also stop that line. So if I move to here, I can stop that line here, okay, and then pick that cut up. That's on a low scissor. Now, on a high scissor, when somebody throws, I'm going to pass and I'm going to cut, okay? I'm going to pass and I'm going to cut. And you start working these into a drill to where as I go 1, I go 2, I go 3. So as I pick this up, I can pick it up that way or I can pick it up this way. It's all going to depend on where your hand positioning is when it comes to that point. Now, if you're working just the scissor positions, a lot of times this is the scissor position. So I may scissor here, okay, I may scissor here, okay, I may scissor here, I may scissor here. So if I go 1 and I go 2 here, okay, now right here I may parry and scissor, and I may parry and scissor. Now keep in mind, every one of these is I'm cutting the arm, okay? Don't get your hand too close to where you're cutting, because if he does move in, which he probably will, and he probably does, make sure your hand is at a clear distance so you're not cutting your own hand. And work with a good training knife. Now, this is one of the training knives that I made years ago, and it works very functional. It's 1/4-inch aluminum, paracord wrapped handle. So now back to the drill. Now we're going to change this a little, or we're going to add something to this. Now when I cut here, when I cut, I thrust. When I cut, I thrust. Okay? When I cut, I thrust. Okay? Now when I thrust, I cut and I thrust. So each and every time when there's a slash, there's a thrust. And so if I move here, there's the thrust. When I move here, there's the thrust. When I move, here's the thrust. When I move, here's the thrust. Don't get too flamboyant. And I say flamboyant, don't start doing this. Okay? That's what's called telegraphing. And you know, or as I'm always referring to, you know, coming from New York City, you know, to advertise. So keep your lines tight. So if I'm in here, this is here, and I thrust here, and I thrust. I move here, and I thrust. I move here, and I thrust. And it's just a scissor drill, guillotine drill. You don't always have to have a knife. If I move here, I may slap the hand, bang, slap the hand. I may come in here and slap, okay, I may slap here. It's just a scissor drill. Whether we have a ballpoint pen, whether we have a dagger, whatever it may be. You're just trying to get the pattern down. So low, it's here, thrust, here, thrust, here, thrust, here, thrust. Learn your weapon. Be passionate about your weapon. Don't change your weapons out. Okay, I know a lot of guys that, you know, One day they'll carry one knife, the next day they'll carry something different. And it's cool that you can actually do that, but you never really understand each little weight, how they open, unless you carry them all the time. Okay, and that's where that is really important, is whatever you're carrying with, make a trainer that looks identical to what you're carrying. Okay, and so again, okay, low thrust, high thrust, high thrust. And that's the drill. Practice it, get used to it, and keep training, and I'll see you in the next video.